The following information is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It should not be taken as medical advice. I am not your doctor, and this audiobook is not a substitute for personalized medical care. Before beginning any fasting routine, dietary change, or exercise program, especially if you have medical conditions or take prescription medications, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your safety always comes first. No tricks, just treats. How to burn fat, boost immunity, and unlock longevity with time-restricted eating. Introduction. Imagine for a moment that you are transported to an alternate reality. In this world, every car engine breaks down at around 30,000 miles. People accept it as normal. Why? Because in this world, most folks only change their engine oil once in a while. Some rarely change it at all. Their engines sputter, stall, and fail long before they should. Now, a few careful drivers go the extra mile. They change their oil more consistently, and sure enough, their cars last a little longer, maybe 40,000 miles, but still not much more. And here's the kicker. In this strange world, nobody, and I mean nobody, ever changes their oil filters. Not once. And because of that, every engine is doomed. But then, imagine you step into this world with what you already know. You start changing your oil and filter every 5,000 miles. And not just with any oil, with premium, synthetic oil, and high-grade filters. Suddenly, your engine isn't dying at 30,000 miles. It's running strong at 100,000, 200,000, even 300,000 miles. Other drivers begin to notice. They see your car purr when theirs coughs and stalls. They ask you, what are you doing differently? And when you explain, some laugh, some shrug, but a few try it. And those few see their engines transformed. Slowly, a movement begins, a radical new idea that engines don't have to fail early, that with care, they can run strong for decades. Now here's the twist. That story isn't really about engines. It's about you. Your body is the most sophisticated engine you'll ever own. But most people fuel it constantly. They drive it constantly, never giving it time to rest, repair, or reset. They treat breakdowns at 40 or 50 or 60 years as, quote, normal. Now, what I'm here to tell you is this. It doesn't have to be that way. Time-restricted eating, or what we call treating, is like changing your oil and filter regularly. It's the maintenance your body craves. And when you add a monthly 48-hour fast, that's like rebuilding your engine. A deep reset, a fresh start, long-term performance, longevity. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You're saying something like, there's no way I can do this. And honestly, I don't really want to. All right, that's that little negative voice whispering in your ear. The same voice that keeps most people stuck at 30,000 miles in that 30,000 mile reality. But I want you to give me a chance. Please, just listen. By the time you finish this audiobook, you'll not only see that you can do this, you'll realize that you must, because your body was never designed for constant wear and tear. It was designed to endure, to thrive, to last. The only question is, will you treat it that way? Or should I say, will you treat it that way? Part 1, Setting the Stage. Let's talk. Not me to a crowd, not me to a class, just me speaking directly to you. You've picked up this audiobook for a reason. Something inside of you is curious about fasting, about time-restricted eating, what I like to call treating. Maybe you've heard the word fasting before and thought, that sounds impossible. Or maybe you've already tried skipping a meal or two, but weren't sure what was happening in your body. Okay, so here's the truth. Fasting is something anyone can do. I mean it, anyone. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a gym membership. You don't even need a supplement. Fasting is built into the very design of your body. Fasting is not about something that you have to do. Fasting is about something you don't do. Anybody can not do something, right? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. If anyone can do it, why don't most people? And the answer is simple. Hunger. That gnawing little voice that whispers, come on, just eat something. Hunger is the biggest reason people give up. And that's where I want to begin. Because when you understand hunger, really understand it, you realize it's not the enemy you thought it was. Before we go there, let me set the stage. This audiobook isn't about theory alone. I'm not here to drown you in jargon or read you a medical textbook. I'm here to give you something practical, something you can walk away with and use immediately. You and I are going to explore, number one, why hunger feels the way it does, and how to handle it. Number two, what to expect when you go longer than you ever thought possible without food. Number three, the science, and I mean the real science, of what fasting does to your body and your brain, and for that matter, your mind. Number four, who should fast and who shouldn't fast. And number five, how you can weave treating and fasting into your life in a way that is safe, inspiring, and maybe even fun. By the time you finish, my goal is simple, that you feel both educated and motivated. Not only will you understand fasting on a deeper level, you'll really want to do it. Because this isn't just about food. This is about freedom. The freedom to choose when you eat, how you eat, and why you eat. So, if you're ready, let's begin with the obstacle that stops most people before they even get started. And of course, that is hunger. Part 2. Hunger, the biggest obstacle. Let's be honest. Hunger is the reason most people quit before they really ever start. I mean, in my experience, the mere mention of not eating, of fasting, can evoke feelings of anger and fear. People will say things like, I love to eat way too much, or there's no way I can not eat for 5 hours. Does any of this sound familiar? Hunger feels primal, immediate, urgent. Like your body is saying, hey, feed me right now, or else something terrible is going to happen. But here's the fascinating part. Hunger isn't nearly as powerful or as steady as it pretends to be. Think of hunger as a wave. It rises, it swells, it crashes, and then it just fades away. Hunger does not just keep building higher and higher forever. Science has proven this. The hormone that drives hunger, is called ghrelin, doesn't just increase endlessly when you stop eating. Instead, it comes in pulses, often tied to your usual meal times. You know what that means? When a wave of hunger hits, if you ride it out for 20 or 30 minutes, it usually passes. And here's something even more surprising. The longer you fast, the less hungry you actually become. After about 48 hours, most people report hunger fading dramatically, sometimes disappearing altogether. Why? Because your body switches fuel. Instead of relying on sugar, you start burning fat and producing ketones. And ketones are a natural appetite suppressor. So hunger isn't really the enemy. It's just a signal, a messenger, not an emergency. And once you understand that, fasting becomes a whole lot easier. Now, let me give you some simple strategies to handle hunger when that wave hits. Number 1, drink water, especially sparkling water. It seems the bubbles stretch your stomach a little and trick your brain into thinking something's coming in. Number 2, drink black coffee or unsweetened tea. Both are natural appetite suppressants. They also help to boost alertness. Number 3, stay busy. Hunger screams louder when you're sitting and staring at the refrigerator. Get outside, take a walk, work on a project, call a friend. Just keep yourself busy. And if you stay busy, you keep hunger in check. In fact, you even forget to be hungry. That's my experience. But here's the empowering part. Every time you ride out a wave of hunger, you're building a new skill. And this is an important skill. It is the skill of self-control. You're proving to yourself that you are stronger than a passing urge. Now let me say that again. You're proving to yourself that you are stronger than a passing urge. You've got more control than you think you do. You're training your mind as much as you are training your body. Now, one of my favorite quotes is this. Quote, "Hunger is not an emergency. It is simply a messenger." Unquote. That's a pretty good quote. Think about that. Hunger is not an emergency. It's just a messenger. It's your body trying to tell you something. And how you respond depends upon how much control you have, how much you're trained. So the next time that wave of hunger rolls in, I want you to picture yourself not as the boat being tossed around by the tide, but as the ocean itself, calm, steady, vast. The wave will rise, it will fall, and you will still be there. Now that we've tamed the biggest obstacle, let's talk about the bumps in the road. Those moments when you don't feel hungry, but maybe instead you feel lightheaded or low on energy. These are very real feelings, and they do happen, especially when you're just getting started in this journey. So why does this happen? And more importantly, what can you do about it? Part 3, the roadblocks, dizziness, and low energy. So, we've dealt with hunger, but what about those other bumps in the road? Maybe you felt it before, the dizziness, the sluggishness, that little drop in energy that makes you wonder, is something wrong? First, let's clear the air. These feelings are common, and most of the time, they're not dangerous at all. They're just part of your body adjusting to a new way of running itself. Now, let me explain what's happening under the hood. When you stop eating, insulin drops. And now that's a good thing. Part of the point in doing this is to drop insulin down low, because truly great things happen when insulin drops. Okay? It allows fat to be released from storage. But when insulin drops, your kidneys start flushing sodium and water. And that's where dizziness often sneaks in. Less sodium, less fluid volume means your blood pressure can dip. That lightheaded feeling you get when you stand up too fast. So that's usually your body saying, hey, I need a little time here. Just let me adjust. And doesn't your body usually adjust? Of course it does. Now, low energy, on the other hand, is more about fuel. Your body is switching from burning glucose to burning fat and ketones. Think of it like changing engines mid-flight. It takes time for the new engines to warm up. But once it does, most people report the opposite of fatigue. They feel clear, sharp, almost electric. So how do we handle these bumps in the road? Number 1, add a pinch of salt to your water. Simple, but powerful. Sodium is often the missing piece. Number 2, try an electrolyte drink, but just make sure it's unsweetened. Number 3, rest a little more in the early days of longer fasts. Remember, you're not weak, you're just adapting. Number 4, stay hydrated. Sometimes what feels like fatigue is really just mild dehydration. And here's the key point. These feelings are temporary. They are not permanent roadblocks. They are speed bumps on the way to something greater. Now, that said, there are times when you should, in fact, listen to your body and break your fast. If dizziness doesn't go away with hydration, if you feel faint or your heart races, if you're vomiting or truly unable to function, remember, fasting is a tool, not a punishment. There's no trophy for pushing yourself beyond your safety. One of my clients told me, quote, I felt so drained on day 2 that I thought I was doing something wrong. But then I added a pinch of salt to my water. 20 minutes later, I was back to myself, unquote. But another client of mine told me that she was shaking and feeling very sick. She checked her blood glucose and it was down into the 50s. Okay, so we agreed that she should stop her fast. And she did. She broke her fast. Remember this, feeling a little off is often just your body shifting gears. But if your body throws up a big red flag, you should listen. So now we've talked about hunger. We've talked about dizziness and fatigue. But before you dive into fasting full force, we need to cover something critical. Who should not fast? Because as powerful as fasting is, it isn't for everyone. Part 4, who should not fast? Now, before we go further, let's be absolutely clear. Fasting is powerful, but it is not for everyone. There are people who should not fast, at least not without close medical supervision. If that's you, it's not a sign of weakness. It's simply a matter of biology, safety, and respect for your own body. So who falls into this category? Well, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, fasting is not an option. Your body is not just fueling you, it's fueling another life. That requires steady nutrition. If you're underweight or malnourished, fasting is not for you. Your body needs to rebuild, not restrict. If you're a child or a teenager still in growth phases, fasting is not appropriate. You're building bone, muscle, and organ tissue at a rapid pace, so fuel is essential. If you struggle with an eating disorder, fasting can easily become destructive rather than healing. In that case, what you need most is support and recovery, not restriction. And finally, if you have certain medical conditions, advanced diabetes, uncontrolled blood pressure, or heart conditions, for example, fasting should only be done under medical supervision. So these things should be obvious. I want to stress this again now. Choosing not to fast, if you fall into any of these categories, is not a failure. In fact, it is wisdom. It is strength. Fasting is not about proving toughness. It's about renewal, health, and long-term resilience. And the path to that goal looks different for different people. As one wise saying puts it, I love this quote, strength is knowing your limits, not ignoring them. So, if you're not in one of those categories and you're cleared for fasting, let's move on. Because the next question that almost always comes up is this. What if I'm on a medication that says, take with food? What do I do then, Jeff? Part 5, Medications and Fasting. Part 6, What you can drink while fasting. Part 7, Going deeper, the science of longer fasts. All right, so we've talked about daily time-restricted eating, that 16-8 or 18-6 or 24 rhythm, where you eat within a certain window of time. That alone is very powerful. It lowers insulin, it improves fat metabolism, and aligns your eating with your body's natural circadian rhythm. But let's go deeper. What happens when you stretch beyond the daily window? What happens at 48 hours, 72 hours, or even longer? That's where fasting really starts to reveal its secrets. Now, this is so important. Here's what the science tells us. At 24 to 36 hours, your insulin levels are at rock bottom. Your growth hormone spikes. And autophagy, that cellular recycling process, it really kicks in. This is when your body starts to clean house. It starts breaking down damaged proteins and reusing them for repair. By around 48 hours, hunger often drops off dramatically. Some people report hunger disappearing altogether. Your body, at that point, has shifted gears into full fat-burning mode. Ketone levels climb higher, fueling your brain with clean energy. Many people describe a sense of mental clarity at this stage, sharpness, calmness, even a feeling of lightness. Now, push out to 72 hours and beyond, and the benefits go even deeper. Research by Dr. Volto Longo and others has shown that extended fasting, now we're talking about 3 to 4 days, can actually trigger the regeneration of immune cells. Old, damaged white blood cells, they get cleared out, and stem cells begin creating new ones. It's literally like hitting a reset button on your immune system. Think about that. By simply not eating, you give your body permission to rebuild itself. No pills, no supplements, just the wisdom written into your biology. Now, let me be clear. Longer fasts require preparation, hydration, and safety. But done wisely, they're like pressing a deep reset button. This is why I encourage my clients to think in layers. Daily, time-restricted eating for rhythm and consistency. A 48-hour fast once a month to push deeper into that fat burning and autophagy. And once a quarter, you consider going deeper, 72 hours or more, for that powerful immune and cellular renewal. Now, there's a line I really love. It's a really good quote. It goes like this. Every act of fasting is a rehearsal for freedom. Think about that. Because fasting frees you. It frees you from constant eating, from dependence on sugar, from the belief that you can't go without. It reminds you that your body was designed for this. You were built with flexibility, resilience, and strength. Now, these characteristics were hard fought over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution in the wild. Your ancestors developed this through just living the way they did, hundreds of thousands of years. And if you think that 3 days sounds impossible, remember this. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents often went that long. Not on purpose, but because food wasn't always available. They didn't have fully stocked refrigerators, fully stocked pantries, the way we do. Now, if they could do it accidentally, you can certainly do it intentionally. Part 9. My closing invitation for you. So here we are. We've walked through hunger, the bumps in the road, the science, the strategies. Now it's time to pull it all together. Fasting, at its heart, is not about deprivation. It's about discovery. It's about realizing that you are not controlled by the clock, or by the pantry, or by the fridge, or by that little voice that says, I need a snack right now. Fasting gives you space. It gives your body time to repair, to reset, to renew. Think about it. Every time you fast, you're not just skipping food. You're sending your body a powerful signal. It's time to heal. You lower your insulin. You clear damaged cells. You burn fat. You sharpen your mind. You tap into energy that doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. And that is freedom. So here's my challenge to you. Number 1, start with daily time-restricted eating, or what we call treating. Start by treating yourself. Pick a window, 16:8 or 18:6, but my preference, I really want you to shoot for 20 and 4. That's 20 hours of fasting, of not eating, and 4 hours of treating, a 4-hour treating window. But start where you are. I want you to practice eating within that rhythm. Number 2, once a month, stretch yourself to 48 hours. Feel what it's like to pass through hunger and into clarity. Most people will never, ever, ever volitionally not eat for 48 straight hours. Number 3, once a quarter, go deeper. A 72-hour fast or more, done safely with preparation. This gives your body that full system reset. Imagine having that once a quarter. What will happen to your life if you follow those 3 steps? Daily treating yourself. Once a month, 48 hours. And once a quarter, 72 hours or more. Will this be easy? Not always. Will you be tempted? Absolutely. Will it be worth it? Every single time. Because fasting doesn't just change your metabolism. It changes your relationship with yourself. Here's another quote that I really love. Fasting is not about denying yourself. It is about discovering yourself. Unquote. When you fast, you realize you are stronger than hunger. You are stronger than cravings. Stronger than the stories you've been told about needing to eat every 2 or 3 hours to survive. So the next time hunger rolls in like a wave, remember this. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. The wave will rise, the wave will fall, and you will still remain. So this is your invitation. Start today. Begin where you are, take one step, and then another. And trust your body. Trust that your body, this amazing, resilient, intelligent body, will meet you there. Treating tips. I'd like to stress here that there are 3 primary activities that contribute to how your body looks and how you feel. And they are, number 1, the types and amount of exercise. Number 2, what and how much you consume. And number 3, how long and how often you fast. Now these are 3 sliding scales. For example, if you want to burn more body fat, you can either change how or how much you exercise, change what or how much you consume, or change how long or how frequently you fast. You can change any one or all of these activities to achieve your goal. Now, this audiobook primarily focuses on the fasting and how you should eat while in your treating window. That said, here are some practical tips for your treating success. Number 1, always have a plan. Decide what your upcoming week will look like and plan accordingly. Which days will you treat yourself? On those days, what will you eat in your treating window? Also, how long will your fast be? If you set your goals, you are much more likely to be successful. Number 2, remain flexible. Things do not always go as planned. If a special occasion pops up during your week, allow yourself to break your fast and partake in the party. Just do not allow special occasions to be the rule. Special occasions should be the exception. If you're going out 2 nights a week and you're partying every time you go out, that may be sabotaging your efforts. It is what you do most of the time that matters, and that determines your results. Number 3, stay busy. Fasting is much, much easier when you are busy and focused. In fact, this is one of the hidden benefits of fasting. Instead of eating, you have to use your time to do other things, and this makes you more productive. Number 4, drink tons of water. Be prepared. If you don't already own a large water bottle, get one and keep it with you. Be prepared to fill that water bottle up over and over and over. Drink as much as you can. It will pay off. Number 5, experiment with black coffee and teas. These are drinks you can safely consume during a fast and can even boost the fasting benefits. Number 6, I need to stress this. There is nothing wrong with wanting to look good in that bathing suit. There is nothing wrong with setting a goal to have a flat belly. I have heard so many people express how, for example, a woman in her 50s or 60s should not wear a bikini. People have told me that they didn't care so much about how they looked. They just wanted to try treating for their health. But once they saw that they were losing some of their belly, they changed their tone. I believe that most people would love to have less belly fat. They just don't think that they can achieve it because it would be too hard. It's kind of like wanting to be a millionaire. Everyone would love to have that much money. The fact is, there's either a negative connotation or we think it's just too difficult to achieve, so we don't ever bother thinking about it. This is similar to that. In my experience from interacting with many clients over many, many years, this is the experience I have. So Why not set a goal of having a flat belly? It's not that you can't achieve it. I know for a fact it can be achieved. You just have to focus and hang in there. Follow everything that I've outlined. If you treat yourself without sabotaging yourself by gorging on carbs, you can rightly expect to achieve that goal within a mere 2 months. Promise. And number 7, finally, if you are treating yourself, you should expect to burn away at least 1 to 2 pounds of pure fat each week. And we're talking fat. That's how much you should lose each week if you are treating yourself properly. Track your progress. If you are not achieving this each week, then you are sabotaging yourself in your eating windows, and you probably need to adjust. FAQs. Question: do I need to treat myself every day? No, you don't. In fact, I recommend you take what I call a junk food day each week. This is a day where you allow yourself to eat any and all of your favorite foods. Note, this doesn't mean you have to eat junk food. It only means you are free to eat whatever your heart desires on this day. You will likely find that once you begin this journey, you actually enjoy your foods much more and look forward to your junk food days. Treat yourself 4 to 6 days each week, possibly taking 1 to 2 days to eat, quote, normally. But be careful how you eat on your normal days. If you aren't getting the results that you desire, it may be easier for you to have 6 treating days with only 1 junk food day. Question: which treating protocol should I use? You suggest 20 and 4, but I don't think I can go 20 hours without eating. And 4 hours doesn't seem long enough to get in all of my calories. Okay, first, nearly everyone can fast for 20 hours. That said, you should start wherever you want, with the goal of getting to 20 hours each day. Start by skipping a meal, such as breakfast. Show yourself that it isn't as difficult as you may have thought. The important thing is to have a goal of 20 hours. Don't get stuck at 14 and 10, for example. Always be willing to push yourself. As concerns the 4-hour window, the goal is not to cram a full day's calories into that window. The goal is actually just to eat until you're satisfied. You'll be surprised at just how little you need each day. Don't worry about what the man says in terms of how many calories you need. Question: I can't seem to burn away the last few pounds of belly fat. I want to get rid of my belly fat so I can look good in my swimsuit. But that last few pounds around my middle is stubborn and won't go away. What am I doing wrong? Okay, if you are following the treating and fasting program, then you are doing a fantastic job. Let's not forget that. Here are the 3 most likely points that are limiting your results. Fix these, and you should lose that belly fat within 2 months. Number 1, evaluate what you consume in your treating windows. The most common culprit, of course, is carbs. In your treating windows, focus on high protein and fats. Do limit those crackers, breads, sodas, and alcohol. I know they taste good, but trust me, it pays off to severely limit them for the sake of reaching your goals. You will love how you look in the end. Number 2, evaluate your number of treating days each week. You may need to increase that number. Number 3, evaluate the total of normal days you have each week and what you consume on those days. If you treat yourself 4 days a week, and take one junk food day, that leaves 2 days of normal eating. Likely, you are overdoing it on those days with the refined carbs, the wine, the soda, etc. Perhaps you eat out with friends 2 days a week. The key here is to create a lifestyle that works. If you want to look good in your favorite outfits, and there's nothing wrong with that, you have to develop the discipline to treat yourself well. Perhaps the irony here is that once you have built a metabolically flexible, tight and toned, lean body, the junk food has far less of an effect. But you have to get to that point first, and that does take work. Question: what do you recommend to eat in my treating window? Okay, I personally eat wild-caught salmon with skin, boneless, skinless chicken breast, steaks, eggs, black beans, pinto beans, microwavable veggies, fresh fruits and veggies, high protein, high fat, high fiber bread, and butter. Question: what can I eat outside of my treating window? Alright, so here I prefer you eat nothing. That's what I do. I believe it is best to let your body do its thing. There's really nothing you can eat that won't break your fast. There are certain drinks that you can have, though, that actually can enhance the process. Black coffee is one of those things. So you can have black coffee. You can have tea, as I've said before. You can have as much of these things as you want. Just don't add any cream or sugar. So the main thing here is I don't want you to get into this game of trying to figure out how much cream you can have or how much sugar-free gum you can chew without technically breaking your fast. Just do none of this. Don't eat anything. But you can consume black coffee and you can consume tea. Just don't add anything to them, okay? Question: can I work out while fasting? Absolutely. Yes. Not only can you work out while fasting, I believe you absolutely should make it a point to work out while fasting, especially for longer fasts. If you haven't eaten for more than 16 hours, an energy sensor called AMPK kicks into gear. AMPK systemically causes another sensor called mTOR to turn off, which ultimately results in autophagy. This process is catabolic. And if you're like me, you still want to build muscle. Of course, this needs anabolism. Therefore, if you do resistance training while fasted, you turn on mTOR locally, which gives the working muscles the signal to grow. And if you do aerobic exercise while fasted, you simply burn more fat while training your body to use fat for energy. Now that's a win-win. Question: what supplements do you recommend? Now that's a great question and largely depends upon the individual needs. Okay, here are some supplements that I can recommend and I take myself. Fish oil. Now the man will tell you that fish oil is an anti-inflammatory, but once again, I disagree with the man. Fish oil is actually a pro-resolving supplement. This is different from anti-inflammatory. Your body uses the EPA and DHA from fish oil to generate bioactive lipid molecules that actively turn off inflammation and promote healing once the initial immune response has done its job. So fish oil doesn't stop inflammation. It gives your body the tools to shut it down appropriately. Curcumin. Curcumin is also called an anti-inflammatory, but once again, from my experience and research, this is not accurate. Curcumin doesn't stop inflammation, not in the way NSAIDs or steroids do. Remember, acute inflammation is the way in which your body heals. NSAIDs delay healing by stopping acute inflammation. Curcumin helps your body to control inflammation so that it doesn't get out of hand and become chronic. So, curcumin doesn't stop inflammation. It allows inflammation to happen, but it controls the inflammatory response so it doesn't get out of hand and become chronic. Next is creatine monohydrate. Creatine is one of the most studied supplements out there and has many benefits, and not just for your muscles, but also for your brain. Put simply, creatine allows your cells to quickly produce energy without relying on mitochondria, avoiding the oxidative stress caused by reactive oxygen species, or ROSs, during mitochondrial ATP production. Using creatine instead of the mitochondria to produce ATP is like driving your car without producing the exhaust. That's pretty cool. About 95% of creatine is found in skeletal muscle, so you get some when you eat meat. However, you would have to eat more than 2 pounds of meat in order to get just 5 grams of creatine, which is the recommended daily dose. This is why we all should supplement with creatine monohydrate. Next is vitamin D3. The upper tolerable limit for vitamin D is 4,000 IU per day. The man recommends you take a mere 600 IU per day. Your physician may recommend 1,000 IU. Some really daring physicians recommend up to 4,000 IU or even 5,000 IU a day. Now, based upon all of my research, I strongly feel you should take a minimum of 10,000 IU per day. You heard that right, 10,000, more than twice as much as the man recommends. Now, with your 10,000 IU, you should also take 200 micrograms of vitamin K2, MK7, and 100 milligrams of elemental magnesium. So, why does the man recommend so little and I recommend so much? Simply put, because the man still associates vitamin D only with bone health. The fact is, vitamin D is not a vitamin at all. It is, in fact, a hormone. And it is produced in your skin as long as you are exposed to the sun. Our species evolved in the sun, so we rely upon vitamin D. Vitamin D production is the result of evolving in the sun. Your thyroid gland has receptors for vitamin D. Your adrenal glands have receptors for vitamin D. Your brain has receptors for vitamin D. All throughout your body, you've got receptors for vitamin D. Your immune cells have receptors for vitamin D. Clearly, vitamin D is important for more than just bone metabolism. According to leading vitamin D researchers, Doctors Michael Hollick, Bruce Hollis, and others, 1 hour of midday sun in the summertime would produce 10,000 to 20,000 IU of vitamin D3 in the skin. So we know your body is fully capable of producing and handling at least 10,000 IU of vitamin D. So why again is the upper tolerable limit only 4,000 IU? That's a good question, isn't it? Okay, next is vitamin K2 and MK7. Now this goes with vitamin D. You should take 200 micrograms for every 10,000 IU of vitamin D. So if you're taking 20,000 IU of vitamin D daily, you should be taking 400 micrograms of vitamin K2, MK7. K2 works with osteocalcin to move calcium from your soft tissues into your bones. Anyone with osteoporosis or osteopenia probably should be taking K2. Fortunately, many vitamin D products also include K2, MK7. Now, as an aside, there is no upper tolerable limit for K2 at this time. Next is magnesium. Magnesium is also needed when taking vitamin D, as it is required to convert vitamin D into its active form. There are many forms of magnesium, and you want to take one of the ones that are more bioavailable and less of a laxative. I personally take magnesium glycinate and also magnesium L-threonate. Now, there are other supplements which I could recommend, but this list is sufficient and should get you started. And with that, we've reached the end of our journey together. You now have the tools, the strategies, and the science to step into fasting and treating with confidence. Remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every fast you complete, every wave of hunger you ride out, every choice to pause instead of indulge is another deposit into your wealth bank and your future health. But you don't have to walk this path alone. If you'd like support, encouragement, and a place to share your journey, I'd like to invite you to join our private Facebook group. It's called The Treatment Room. It's where people just like you are practicing time-restricted eating, sharing their experience, asking questions, and celebrating victories together. So take what you've learned here, put it into practice, and let your results speak louder than your doubts. This is your time. This is your treat.